Hey, people. My name is Jacob Stee-full, and this is the Don't Stifle Me podcast. Welcome. This is where I get to sit down with people from all across music and performing arts and talk with them about how they've done, what they've done, the ups and downs along the way when you're being driven by, a true passion for something, and whatever else comes up in conversation. When I'm not podcasting, I'm also a singer, songwriter, and musician myself. And actually, coming up, I've got a few shows. I will be in Jasper, Alabama, May 11th, Noonan, Georgia, May 26th. And then in June, I'll be in Gunnersville, Alabama, Albertville, Alabama, and then I'll bounce down to the Gulf Coast and the Mobile area for a few shows. But for more details and dates and info and all that, you can check out jacobstifle.com. As for the podcast here, for the time being, we are running on the value for value model, which means that if you enjoy these talks, then it's in your hands to decide what I get paid to do them. So for as little as $1, $2, $3 a month, you can help support the process, plus get behind the scenes pictures and videos and downloads of MP3s over at patreon.com/DSM podcast. So check that out if you'd like. But today, my guest is a badass guitarist, hell of a nice guy, and hails from Stockholm, Sweden. David Henriksson stopped by to chat the other day. David currently plays guitar for Tracy Lawrence, and hasn't even lived in the U.S. for a whole year yet. So he's doing pretty good. We talk about growing up in Stockholm, the Swedish music scene, and him deciding to move to the U.S., picking Nashville, and what all goes into getting a work visa to move over here, which apparently is quite a bit. So we talk about all that and much more. It was a fun talk. He's a great guy. So ladies and gentlemen, David Henriksson.
Pick it up from piano.
It ain't dying I'm talking about. It's living.
So
Yes.
David Henriksson?
Yeah.
Is that right? Did I say
Yep.
that right? Okay. And you are from?
Sweden, Stockholm, Sweden.
Stockholm. Okay. I knew you're from Sweden. I couldn't remember what part. You may not know this about me because I don't think I've told you. I am 1/4 Swedish.
I don't think.
I don't think I told you that.
No.
Because I was just talking to Mom about that the other day.
Yeah. 1/4, you said?
Yeah, my mom's mom is 100% Swedish.
That's
Her
cool.
parents
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure were from Sweden.
And when did they move over here? Or when did she move over here?
They came, I'm pretty sure they grew up in Chicago,
Yeah.
but they came when they were children. Like their parents brought them each over from, I think I actually, oddly enough, came from the same town. I'm not sure what town. I should know that. But I think they actually came from the same town, but didn't know each other until they came over to America.
Ah, okay.
And they was
So you're like great-great-grandparents then?
My great-grandparents
Yeah.
are both Swedish.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And
My
your
grandmother
Yeah,
is...
sorry, yeah.
She is
I was
100%
thinking about, yeah.
Swedish.
Yeah.
And so my mom's half,
Yeah.
and I'm 1/4.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Yeah.
We're meant to be
You're
friends.
only 25 cent. You're a quarter. Yeah.
So you were born, what year were you born over there?
88.
In Stockholm?
Yes.
Very cool. Grew up there your whole life?
Yes.
Nice.
Got a little bit bored with it after a while.
Yeah. When did you start playing music?
I started playing violin when I was 6 years old. Played it for a couple of years. Enjoyed it during the lessons that I had every week.
Yeah.
But didn't really practice much at home.
There's
And
few things worse than a child or anyone practicing violin that is not good yet.
yeah, I don't think it sounded that good. I've seen just one or like two videos from that time when it was like super simple thing where I just played along with my mother and I just played like a drone thing, just one note, but played the same rhythm as she did over like the over the root note.
Yeah.
And I had a good sense of rhythm. I could hear. I was like nailing the same rhythm that she was playing, but you couldn't hear that much about like the actual tone of the instrument. That's usually like tone and intonation is
Yeah. Yeah,
the tricky things to get.
I have a fiddle, violin, whatever you want to call it, up
Yeah.
there. I got that summer before or after my 9th grade year in school, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna learn this. I'm gonna be like Charlie Daniels. I'm gonna be whatever. And it took like a month, and I was like, fuck this. This is too hard.
But it's nice up there on the wall.
It looks great. I can play "Oh Susanna,"
Yeah.
and I can kind of play Dixie.
Yeah. Well,
and I can play I can bastardize the beginning part of "The South's Gonna Do It Again" by Charlie Daniels. Like,
yeah, that's nice. We play that every weekend, actually.
I was actually watching a video of you this morning. I think it was during that song. Is that when you duck walked up the catwalk?
Yeah.
That looked like a lot
That was
of fun.
that.
Looked
Yeah,
like
that was
fun.
really fun. That was that song.
That reminded me of being in the driveway when I was 13, 14 years old, listening to AC/DC and playing my guitar and duck walking up my driveway. But
Yeah.
you had a few more people watching you than I had at that point.
Yeah, I never had that many people watching me doing that either.
So was that planned, or were you just like, I'm just going to do it?
Well, it's like I've done those things before.
Right.
It was not like I tried it out for the first time.
Yeah.
But I mean, you never know if you'll get the vibe. But I was like, there's a catwalk there. I'm gonna step out on it and see what happens. And
yeah, so people that don't know, you play for
Tracy Lawrence, country singer Tracy Lawrence.
Yeah. Okay. How long have you been playing with him?
I started with him in the beginning of September last year.
Okay. Yeah, so because a lot of those type shows, bigger artists are like they choreograph like their whole show, like who's going to be standing where and who's going to be like between which songs, so and so's going to be doing this. But
Ours is not at all.
No? Okay. Do y'all just kind of like follow him, or do you have like set lists that you're going to run on?
Yes.
Yeah.
And those change a little bit. Maybe one night we only are supposed to play 75 minutes instead of 90 minutes, and then we cut a few off. But it's the same template, I would say, all the time.
But as far as the interaction between musicians and stuff on stage, it's just kind of like we're all going to be playing.
Yeah, exactly. Like I've noticed that, like the fiddle player, he has his, he goes over to the drummer in a few certain songs, and he goes over to me in a few certain songs because there's some like signature stuff.
Yeah,
like,
I saw that on a few videos. Yeah,
and I mean, I don't know if that's something he just like. Well, this feels natural, and I've done it for many years, so I'll just keep on doing it. Or if it's something that they worked out and like actually decided, let's do this.
One of the really cool things about when you get to play with the same people for any length of time, like the longer you play with the same people, whether you plan it or not, you start doing those kinds of things because you get to feeling like, oh, I know when this guy steps to the left a little bit like that, he's about to do this lick or something like that. Yep. So you kind of get to breathe and move with each other, and that's cool. It's a great thing. I sat a few months back. I was with a friend down in Gulf Shores, Alabama, and I was just hanging out for a couple nights. I wasn't playing, and he got a hold of some special mushrooms that we took part in, and I sat there. And some people, when they take mushrooms, they want to be up and doing things and moving around. Have you ever done mushrooms before?
I haven't done any kind of drugs.
Oh, well.
I've
it's fantastic.
eaten mushrooms like
on pizza or whatever.
Yeah, but I don't like that either. Yeah. So,
well, when you take magic mushrooms or whatever you want to call them, it affects everybody differently, like most things. And some people like to be up and moving around and doing whatever, but I really like to just sit there, like in a chair or on a yoga mat or somewhere, whatever, and just kind of feel the music or whatever and not be active. Anyway, this particular night, we turned on a Black Crowes, like full set of the Black Crowes at some festival or something, and watched it from beginning to end, and it was like a religious experience because you notice, it just makes you start noticing things that you don't normally notice. And
open up your senses.
Yeah, for sure. And so I remember what I took out of that was that entire set, the order of songs and the dynamics from song to song and even during the songs, that was like Chris Robinson or whoever, I figure it was him probably that came up with a set list or whatever. He was playing the band like it was an instrument.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so I was thinking, like, he's just like, this band is breathing and coming up and down and moving with each other, and each person knows when they're coming in and going out.
Yeah.
And
But he's the kind of guy that
he was
like,
kind of
directs all of
conducting,
it.
conducting the whole thing like he was playing the band. It was weird. That was the thought that I had.
Yeah.
It was
that you might not have thought without the help of those mushrooms in the same way, at least.
Might or might not. You know, who's to say, David? Who's to say?
It's not that important, maybe. You got that experience, and it was a nice one. So.
Yeah. So you've never done any drugs at all?
No.
None? Are you lying to me right now? I'm just kidding. I don't expect you to lie to me. What about drinking? Are you a drinker?
Yes.
Yes.
I enjoy beer very much.
Yeah. Well, I made a little list here. We'll just go ahead and cover this while we're here. I would like to know your stances. What is your favorite adult beverage on that?
Well, definitely beer. But if I have to be more specific, that's hard because yesterday I went out with a friend and I wanted beer. He wanted liquor. He went with like vodka and something, whatever, all night, the same drink. I had 6 beers and 6 different beers, and most of them I'd never tried before. And I just asked either him or the bartender.
Yeah. What am I going to try now?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I like to do because there's so much stuff, both like locally around here.
So many different beers, yeah.
And I'm just like, I know I like a lot of the like Yasu and who makes the Bear Walker? That's Jackalope.
I know there's Jackalope. I don't know. I'm not a big beer connoisseur.
No, but that's
Jackalope is a local place.
I love those things, but I also love to find new things.
New ones, yeah. Do you like the darker or lighter beers?
Both.
Both?
Yeah.
Just like it, just a beer.
So people always ask, but what are you in the mood for? I'm in the mood to try something that you recommend to me, like hopefully something I never tried before. Do you like dark or light? Well, surprise me.
Just
I like
pick something, yeah.
If I don't like it, I won't buy 3 more, but like I will try another one.
At least drink this one.
Yeah. And like you won't hurt me in any way by suggesting something that I might not like because and sometimes they're like, you can have a small sample. I'm like, no.
Just give me a beer.
Yeah. Because if I have just a small sample, I might be like, that wasn't that good. But maybe if I have the entire beer, I actually start getting into it, you know?
It's an interesting standpoint there. Very open-minded of you. A lot of people are much more picky.
Yeah, I don't do drugs, but I try to get to know beer.
There you go. Nothing wrong with that. So we discussed this earlier. You are not a coffee drinker.
No.
I was disappointed a little bit.
I'll
just have to drink all the coffee.
Yeah, but I've never even tried coffee.
Oh, man.
I mean, I kind of know how it tastes because I've had like a drink with coffee in it or like coffee candy or stuff like that.
Right.
But I never had an actual like coffee or cappuccino or like...
Hang around a little bit longer. I may change that when we get you on board. Peanut butter, crunchy or creamy?
I'd say 90% of the time I want crunchy.
Okay.
Sometimes it's nice with creamy as well, but most of I would say I haven't done it for like a month, but for several months I was crazy about peanut butter that I've never been in my life before because it feels like it's a big thing over here. Everyone eats peanut butter with everything all the time. Well, over in Sweden, it's not that big of a thing. But when I got here, like we always had it in the tour bus where we have creamy. Yeah. And I'm like, this is nice stuff, and it's kind of good for you as well. Like peanuts, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
So, but then I felt like I ate like 2 big jars every week. I'm just like, maybe I should not do this for a while and see how it feels.
Well, it's like, you know,
I kind of miss
everything
in
moderation.
Yeah,
of course. You know, eggs. Are you an egg eater?
I like eggs very much.
How do you like your eggs?
Well, sometimes you can boil them.
Yes.
And that's good, but it can also be a little bit boring.
Yes.
Sometimes. Scramble is fine.
Yeah.
You call the yellow part the yolk, right?
Yolk.
Yes. Not like joke.
No, not joke. Yeah.
Not the haha.
No. Yeah.
Egg, the yolk.
With an L in there. Yolk.
Yeah. And
I think that's right. Now I don't even know. I think that's right. You're confusing. Yeah.
Yolk. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't like that to be too loose.
Okay.
Either when I boil it or when I fry it, maybe. Or
Right.
back in the
Not
day,
too
I
runny.
probably no, exactly.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I probably want to boil my eggs for like 15 minutes because I want it to be like as solid as possible. Now I kind of like this in between
Yeah.
thing.
I gotcha.
But
that was
I
it.
enjoy eggs. I eat a lot of eggs.
Eggs are great. Eggs
Yeah.
are great for you. That was my list. That's my list
Yeah.
of the 4. I just thought of what's some important things in my life. And I
Yeah.
thought of
Definitely.
coffee, peanut butter, eggs, and alcohol.
Yeah,
Those are great things.
yeah.
So this may be a very stupid question, but is the language in Sweden Swedish, or do you speak another language?
It's called Swedish. Yes.
Okay. I thought so.
Yeah.
I was like 92% sure of that. When did you learn English?
I think we started in 3rd grade.
So just as kids are growing up there, everybody just learns English
Yes,
also?
and nowadays I think people start in like 1st grade.
Oh, wow.
So, and Sweden is very influenced by America in the sense that a lot of the TV
Yeah.
shows and a lot of the movies people watch are American stuff.
I was
So-
I was going to ask if they play stuff from over there on TV.
Yes, very much so.
Is it things that are new here, new there, or is it like a delay on things?
It's both, I'd say.
Yeah.
Sometimes you know, it's been like Sweden has been very America influenced for many years.
Yeah.
So when my parents grew up, they watched American TV shows
Yeah.
on TV, and like everyone, that's the way it's been. Because I mean, maybe that's the same in many other countries as well. But I also know that people don't study English
Yeah.
as early in many other countries, and then they actually don't. We have Swedish subtitles on the American shows
Okay.
or movies on TV.
Yeah.
But in many other countries, they just translate them. You know,
Oh,
they
the
dub them.
audio. Yeah. Yeah.
So I've seen like Die Hard
Yeah.
dubbed to Czech when I've been in Prague,
Yeah.
and that's kind of weird. Hearing
Yeah.
like seeing John McClane saying "Yippee motherfucker,"
Yeah.
but
Hearing it
in a
another
totally
language.
different language. That's
Yeah. Do you speak any other languages?
I don't.
No.
I studied German for 4 years, but I don't remember any of it.
Because my last name is Stiefel,
Yeah?
which is German for boot.
Yeah,
And-
that's very. Yeah, I didn't know. That's quite
It's
close
like
to
boot
Swedish.
or long boot,
yeah,
or
yeah.
something like that.
In Swedish, that's stövel.
Ah, how about that?
So that's
I'm sure
I
that came from
and
the same thing.
Stiefel, boot. Not very close to boot, of course, but
Yeah.
Stiefel, stövel. That's more or
Yeah.
less 2 letters.
When-
essentially.
So at some point in high school, I decided that I was going to learn German.
Yeah.
So I bought this German to English like dictionary,
Yeah.
and it had some instructional like sayings and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like learning the fiddle. I got
Yeah.
through about a week or two, and I was like, I don't know about this. So I took Spanish my senior year.
Yeah.
And I was a senior, so I didn't really give a shit about much.
No.
But I still kind of retained. I remember some of the general rules
Yeah.
of emphasis and grammar and things.
Yeah, grammar in German is tricky.
It was tough. Yeah.
I don't know about Spanish, really.
Who really knows? Who really knows anything, David? I don't know.
I know that rock and roll is mostly sung in English, so
Yeah. How is so back to Sweden when you were growing up? When you said your mom played, she played violin? Is that what you said?
No, she didn't play violin, or she does a little bit. She has a
Yeah.
couple of them, but that's not her main instrument. Her main instrument is a Swedish, the Swedish, like national instrument, called in English keyed fiddle,
Okay.
in Swedish nyckelharpa.
Oh.
And that is a very, very cool instrument that everyone should look into. It's like you play it with a bow.
Nyckelharpa?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's good.
That's pretty, that's
Yeah.
all right there. All right.
Yeah, your Swedish genes.
There you go, that was it.
Come through, yeah. You play it with a bow. you don't touch the strings with your hand because you have actual keys that presses the strings instead.
Yeah.
There's 4 strings, usually on the modern kind of keyed fiddle or nyckelharpa, that you 4 strings that you can reach with your bow, but then it has another 12 strings that acts as resonance strings, and they're tuned to all the 12 chromatic pitches.
Okay.
So they kind of act as a natural reverb. Because if you play a C note on one of your actually playing strings, the C note from the resonance strings will kind of ring with it.
Okay.
So it sounds really cool.
A friend of mine shared a video the other day, and it was, it said like Norwegian folk music. Yeah. But it was a girl playing something similar to what you're talking about. I wonder if it was the same kind of
Could have been. They have some
instrument.
Similar stuff over there.
Let's see. I'm going to pull it up. Just hang out, people. How's everybody doing out there? I hope you're doing well as you're driving in your car, or you're cooking your food, or doing your laundry. Are you a podcast listener, David? You can say no.
I've been listening to a lot of stuff lately when I've been out running, and listening a lot to Swedish podcast that I listened a lot to, like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But I haven't really kept up with it.
Yeah.
But now I'm trying to listen to it more frequently again. And it's really good stuff.
This is the thing.
Yeah, that's a keyed fiddle.
That is?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. That's so cool. I sat and listened to this so long the other day. It's I'm gonna post that up on the show notes page.
Yeah, you should.
Make a note here. Keyed fiddle.
Yep.
Nyckelharpa.
Yep.
I'm gonna remember that. All right. So that's her main. That's your mom's main instrument.
Yes,
that's very cool.
She also plays guitar and piano and flute and some bass.
What about your
dad? My dad plays accordion.
Nice. Musical family.
Yeah, my dad. My brother is a full-time drummer as well. Really good drummer.
How many brothers and sisters do you have?
That's the only one.
Just one brother. Cool.
3 years younger.
Okay.
And my dad. This is actually something that I was very proud back then, and still like. I'm still proud of it. It was very cool when he. This is back in 2000. So it's almost 18 years ago when there's something in Sweden, a title that you can get by playing, performing for certain jury of experts on Swedish folk music. And if you're good enough, you can get the title called like the national player.
Huh.
And my dad became the 5th person ever to get that as an accordion player.
Wow.
On the fiddle or the keyed fiddle, there's hundreds of them because it's more common and it's more like traditionally used instrument.
Right.
While my dad was the 5th ever. Huh. And that's not like, if you're playing really good modern stuff, you won't get it. You kind of have to delve into a really specific, okay, this is the accordion playing from this little village or like this small county or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Yeah, very cool. What did your parents do as work?
My mother worked as a music teacher for many years. Now she's back to doing that, but for like 7 or 8 years in between, she worked with kids with like Down syndrome and stuff like that. Now she found this like perfect job where she can actually teach music, but for that kind of kids.
Nice. Yeah.
So that was really good for her. And my dad works for a medical company. He's like, he grew up in a small, like, or outside a small city in the northern parts of Sweden, or like maybe middle parts of Sweden, but still like 6 hours drive from Stockholm or something like that.
Yeah.
And he was like 19. And like, I gotta get out of here. And he asked his 2 older sisters, could anyone try to find me a job interview somewhere?
Yeah.
And his oldest sister, like, yeah, you can come to Stockholm here, and like, I can get you an interview at my job. And he started working there, and he's been in that business, not for that same company, but in that business
That's
since
nice.
78 now. So
Wow.
that's 40 years.
Yeah, that doesn't happen
And
much
that was
over here
that
anymore.
was that wasn't something that he tried to get into. He just wanted one job, you know?
It's just help me
Something
a
to get
job.
started.
And that was not bad. So he's still working for them.
Not for the same company.
Right.
He changed in 89, I think.
Okay,
to,
the same thing.
Yeah,
whatever.
kind of.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, when did you? So, what's the music scene like as far as like playing shows and gigs and stuff in Sweden? Is it similar to here, like playing bars and venues and stuff? Or
I'd say like this: Sweden is kind of known for its great music scene, but I would say we're way better at exporting music.
Okay.
It's like, you know, Max Martin has written as many number hits almost like Lennon and McCartney.
Okay.
You know, and he's from Sweden. That's a very cool thing. But the live music scene is not as good as like the export scene or whatever. So
when did you start playing out over there?
I started playing some kind of clubs when I was maybe in high school. I'd say I was 16 or 17.
Yeah.
And then I had this, or that band is still, like, we haven't quit the band or anything, but we're not very active right now since I live here. But I joined a band. The reason I got the Dave Cave nickname.
Right, yeah.
Back in May 2004, so that's soon 14 years ago.
Oh,
We've been
wow.
the same lineup since then, released 2 full-length albums and a couple of singles.
Were they pissed when you said, I'm going to Nashville?
We haven't been very active the last few years
okay.
because I was doing so much other stuff, and they have full-time jobs and focusing on other stuff. But we recorded a 5-track EP in the summer of 2016 that is still not released yet, so we're hoping to do that quite soon. But anyway, we started playing some clubs, more or less like, you know, for clubs for teenager. I don't know what you would call them here. Like, you can't really drink, but you
like
go
underage
there.
clubs. I gotcha.
But I would say like this: if you play in a cover band, you can get some gigs.
Yeah.
If you play with a modern, popular pop act, that's a good thing. You'll get a lot of gigs.
So like the gigs that pay enough to,
But trying to do anything else than like playing covers of stuff that's been on the radio either now or 30 or 50 years ago, or it's just like, if you try to play blues, of course some people can do that for a living, but not many. Or if you're trying to, like, you know, the folk music scene, it's not big, and it's like, there's a lot of people doing it, but it feels like it's the same people that listens to it that plays it.
Right. No, that makes sense.
That can sound weird, but it's just like, you see that country, we're looking at the map right now, it's, if Google hasn't lied to me, it's actually only California and Alaska that's bigger area-wise in the States than Sweden. It's quite, you see, it's like, it's long. Quite narrow, but it's very long.
Yeah.
But it's only 10 million people living there. So it's like more people in New York City.
Yeah.
You know, but this is such a big...
Wow.
It's a...
Yeah, that's
you
not
see,
many
it's
people.
way
for
bigger
that big
than most of these other countries.
Yeah,
in Europe.
compared to the UK and compared to all these places, it's huge. Yeah.
So, but it's like the lower third.
Yeah.
Most people live. Like the upper third, almost no people live.
So it's like super cold up there.
It can be very cold. Yeah. I've spent some time up there playing these like ski resorts, playing after ski style gigs, and
man, this is making me want to go look and see where my family's from over there.
Yeah, do you know what it's called?
I can't remember. I should have asked that before we sat down and talked. We'll just have to talk again.
Yeah.
We can discuss that.
Yeah.
Well, what happened? At what point did you decide that you wanted to come over here? Like, what was the in your mind leading up to that?
I'll tell you what led up to it. It's like in 2010, when I was 22, I started this cover band with my brother and some other guys. And we got very busy very quickly because the lead singer, who also played guitar, he was 25 years older than me. So he had been a full-time musician since before I was born.
Okay, yeah.
Very, like, experienced guy, knew so many songs. And it was a very good experience for us because, you know, we didn't rehearse that much. He actually, you know, people could go up to us like, hey, could you play this song? Like, I never heard this. Do you know it? And he was like, yeah, I played it as a troubadour in the 90s. So let's try it. I'll just play the first verse and then you join me. You'll get it.
Yeah.
And the first few times, like, oh, what's going to happen now? But after a while, we played like 5 songs a night like that. And we could fool almost anyone that we played it 10 times before. We just like learned how to follow him.
Right.
And that was really, I learned a lot by doing that. Both like repertoire-wise, but also like big ears and like being able to, if I don't know where this is going, maybe, especially as a guitarist, I don't have to play on the first beat of next bar. Absolutely. I can wait until it's second or third beat, hear where it's going, and then like do just something.
For sure. Yeah.
I don't have to play a full bar chord. I can do something that's simpler.
That will fit.
Yeah. As a bass player, that's trickier. You're about to play the root note on the one. Otherwise, people are like, where did the bass player go?
Right, yeah.
So, but we figured out this way where the guitarist always turned to the bass player and just like changed his chord like half a second before, just to show, not strumming like it, but just like showing. It worked fine.
There's little things like when, like I have to do that a lot when I'm playing a song and maybe somebody I'm playing with doesn't know. There's little things like you can do other than calling out the chords.
Yeah.
There's like you can, if you're going to go from the 1 to the 4, you can do a 7.
Yeah.
You know,
or dum ba dum dum dum.
Yeah.
Walk ups and like
Yeah, but that's so important for that. To me, that's one of the best things about playing in cover bands or playing like on Broadway here in town is it's not that you're going to play on Broadway and you're going to get discovered by somebody and then you're going to make millions of dollars, but going down there and playing songs that you might have never ever played before, but playing with other people and hearing the changes and getting familiar with just music as a language in general is huge.
Yeah, I definitely didn't learn those things. Even though I studied music for 8 years, I learned those things on those gigs.
Right.
And I had a lot of other knowledge that helped me to learn that
theory
faster.
Type stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I studied theory for many years, but it just like those things happened there and then, and I'm glad I did it. But after doing that for like 3 years, I had, I did some math on it, and I had my amp and my pedal board was worth like, $12,000, something like that.
Yeah.
And that was my rig I brought to every gig without even counting the value of the guitars.
Wow, yeah.
And I played, cruise ships where people just got drunk and, wanted to hear Bad Moon Rising for the third time. I was just like, no, this can't be how far I'll reach.
Right.
There has to be something more in it for me. I spent all this money, all these years working on my craft.
Yeah.
So I what should I do? I need to get some inspiration. I can't get stuck here. So I started thinking about maybe the States is a step.
Yeah.
Like the right step to take. Should I go there to study? Because I don't want to go there for like only a week and like get drunk or like have a vacation. I need something else. I was I'm still kind of a gear nut, but I bought so much. The only stuff I put money into was like new pedals, new amps, new guitars.
That's why
gear.
you and Jack Roos get along so well, because you're both badass players and gear nuts.
Yeah.
Jack gets to talking about stuff, and I'm like, Jack, I don't know what you're talking about. It sounds awesome.
Yeah, but like, I realized after a while, I know that he now can focus on like, well, he has a kid. Like, he realized that getting that new overdrive pedal might not be that important.
Right. Yeah.
And I realized, not that it's the same thing, but like I started focusing on other things, and maybe I should try to get as much money as I can and go away for, if you don't have a work visa like I do have right now, you can only be in the States for 90 days.
Yeah.
And I was like, if I can go away for almost that long, that would be cool, because then I can both do the touristy stuff, but also kind of do some serious networking.
Yeah.
So I talked with a friend. He was into doing it as well. I saved up money. I sold gear for quite a lot of money that I felt like I don't need it right now.
Yeah. You can always buy it again.
Yeah, like some of the stuff, like my actual first Fender Strat, I sold that. That's like, that would have been fun to have still, but I can't regret it, really. It's like, paid for a few hotel nights here. But then I went over here for 11 weeks in the fall of 2014.
And that was actually when we met, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll get to this. This is fun. We decided to do a road trip together. He could only be in the States for like a month, and I have stayed up for like 2.5 months. So we started with like 3 days in Fort Lauderdale, Miami area, just like beach hang. We drove up to New Orleans, hung out for 3 days. We went to Austin. Saw Jimmy Vaughn play and some other really cool people.
Yeah.
We had a friend who worked for a Swedish pop duo that was playing at the Austin City Limit Live Festival, and he got us free tickets in there. So we got that cool experience as well. Not that I enjoyed the music that much that day,
right?
But like overall in Austin that week, cool I saw a lot of great stuff. And then we spent 3 days in Dallas and 2 days in Memphis, and then we came to Nashville, and he was here for 5 days before he had to go back home, and I spent like 2 months here before because I didn't want to. My plan was to come to Nashville for a week or two and then go to Chicago or LA or maybe back to New Orleans or Austin, because I had quite a lot of time, but like, no, I want to stay here, and if I'm going to do some networking, I better do it at one place and not do networking 3 days each.
Right,
in different cities, because that won't last.
That was smart.
Then I actually met you. We both, me and my friend, were taking an Uber ride, and I remember talking to you. We talked about music, and you're like, I'm doing my own thing, playing kind of rock and roll. Cool. And I ran into Jack Rooch maybe a month after that, and he said he played with you, but I never ran into you again until like a week and a half back.
Yeah.
And I kind of kept track on you over like Facebook and Instagram, but we haven't been in touch. But I remember, I mean, that was one of my first Uber rides ever in Nashville.
That's
and I started talking to someone that felt like, oh, this is a cool guy. But I mean, you probably don't remember it because it was one out of 1,000 Uber rides.
You had, I saw where you did a thing with Jack on his Instagram or something, where y'all got together and played. And people listening, if you want to hear some fantastic guitar playing, you should go to David's Instagram, Dave Cave what?
Dave Cave 1. Dave Cave 1.
And you should go to Jack Roosh Guitar.
Yes.
Amazing
on Instagram. Content.
It's ridiculously, they're both ridiculously good. But anyway, so I saw where you and Jack did a thing together on Instagram, and I was like, that guy looks so familiar. Yeah. I didn't know why you looked familiar or what from or whatever. And then when I ran into you at the Johnny Hayes show at the Rolling Stones album release a couple weeks ago, we finally met. I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah, that was wild.
Yeah, it's fun sometimes how it takes a while to get like full circle, but that was we met 3.5 years ago. And now.
Well, so you were here for a couple months? Networking and hanging around.
Made a lot of good connections.
So when you were doing that, especially when your friend left, were you just like, oh, I'm just going to go out and say hey to some people?
When he left, another 4 of my friends from Sweden came here for a week.
Okay.
And we kind of did the same thing the first few days with that one friend, and then with, the standard like Broadway hang and do, the touristy stuff.
Yeah,
that was awesome. But I figured if I'm going to do or like make some good connections here, I have to go somewhere else where the actual locals are hanging out, and it's not only
people listening,
people.
Locals and industry people. You're not going to find them at Tootsie's or Honky Tonk Central.
No, you won't.
But
then one of the first things I did, I went to the Soul Shine Blues Jam.
Yeah,
and then I ran into a mutual friend of ours, Matt Mackey.
Oh yeah,
who I also met like a couple of weeks before that. during a Uber ride.
Yeah, I was about
as
to
well.
say, he's a
so
Zapper too.
several of my friends over here I met during Uber rides, and they turned out to be like musicians as well.
So many musicians are drivers because we can just. I'm still doing it. You can make your own schedule.
Yeah,
and do
like
it whenever
filling
you
the
want.
blanks. If you get a canceled rehearsal, go out drive for a couple of hours.
Yeah.
And that was even a paid rehearsal.
Yeah, yeah. So you got to meet Matt Mackey through that.
Yes, and I met a lot of other good people. I went to Social like 5 or 6 Sundays in a row.
Yeah.
And I met some really good friends there.
So they're doing that jam now at the original corner pub over on whatever 51st or whatever, somewhere over there. Right on. So after that length of time here, you were like, all right, this is it. I'm moving, or what?
Well, I got very good vibes, and people told me, you're a cool guy, you're a good player, you probably do well here, but you can't do anything yet because you don't have a work visa. So like you should, if you want to do this, like we can help you, but you have to do a lot of work yourself first to get that actual work visa. And some people even told me, like, you don't have to come back here to do more networking. Focus on that work visa. But I couldn't.
What all
really,
goes into that?
I'll tell you in a minute. But I couldn't really keep myself from not going here again. So like 3 months later, in March 2015, I came here for 2 weeks.
Okay.
And I didn't meet that much new people, but I definitely like solidified the connections I already had.
Yeah.
And I made sure to show them, like, I'm serious about this. And after that trip, I more or less decided I might not want to live here for the rest of my life, but I definitely want to try to move over here for a while and see what happens. And then during the same time, I decided to quit the cover band. I gave them a few months' notice, and I was saving up as much money as I could. And I got in touch with a lawyer, and I quit the cover band in beginning of September 2015. I didn't have any gigs booked for the rest of the year, but I knew that if I don't end up with any like unexpected expenses, I will survive with my savings for the rest of this year at least.
Yeah.
Starting telling people I quit the cover band. I'm up for other stuff. I got in touch with a lawyer over here, or he's based in Franklin.
Yeah.
I want a work visa. What should I do? And like this and this and this and this. You have to show that you've been like nationally and internationally recognized, that you've been working on a high professional level with these and these people. Blah, blah.
Okay.
And I can't just like state, okay, this is my resume, this is what I've done. It all has to be documented and confirmed by other people. Like if I mentioned in an article that claims I played support act for this group, that's one kind of evidence that they might look into.
Yeah.
Or if there's a poster for a tour where my name is mentioned,
right,
or the band name or something like that. Different articles.
So you have to put together
contract.
like a packet, like a.
We spent like a year and a half.
Wow.
Because I didn't have enough stuff, so I had to try to fill out my resume with more stuff over that time.
Yeah.
So what I did, and what's been a good thing for me, I realized if I get in touch with some different companies that might want to support me, and I can like make video demos for their products.
Yeah.
They can state that they're endorsing me.
Yeah.
And that's cool. That's a cool
helps.
thing.
Yeah.
But that helps this kind of like, he has like 4 different Swedish companies that endorses him. That's something that really helped.
Yeah, for sure.
So during that fall, I invested in some home studio equipment for the first time, and I started making those videos. And like in the beginning of 2016, within like a month, I got deals with like 4 different companies that gave me free stuff, more or less.
Yeah, to like demo it and talk about it and stuff. Yeah,
3 different Swedish companies and 1 Japanese company like supported me for a European tour. Huh. Maybe you've run into this guy as well. He was hanging out at Soulshine a lot, and he was here in town several times. A British guy called Daniel Kemish.
Doesn't ring a bell.
You definitely have mutual friends with him.
For sure.
But I went out for a tour with him. Do you know James Weston?
Now, that name sounds familiar.
Yeah, he's been in town. He's not living in town now, but
Yeah.
he was on that tour as well, and he was
Okay.
living in Nashville at that time.
Okay.
He was here in town for like 5 years or something.
That name
Yeah.
sounds familiar.
Yeah. He knows Matt Mackey. And
I got you.
like,
I'm sure so many people you probably met and
Yeah.
hung out with.
Yeah.
Especially, I know it's one of those things like Nashville. So
But you
it's
only
a big
heard
city.
James. You
Yeah,
don't
or
hear-
something like that. Like it's a city, but it's also such a small town feel because if you don't know somebody, it's almost guaranteed that you have one mutual, like at least
Yes.
one mutual friend.
Yes.
You know, especially in the music business.
Yes, for sure.
You know, it's like I don't know how many times I've been on the road and had like a new musician that was out with us for the first time. And like you may not know him, but you find like a few mutual friends, and you're like, "Oh yeah, I know
Yeah.
so and so from so and so," and it's one of those things.
It's very rare that, like, we actually don't have any mutual friends.
Yeah.
I mean, how often is that?
Yeah,
It's-
I know. So it took that long to get the like year and a half or something like that to get the
took more than a
thing
year and a
together?
half to get the work visa approved.
Yeah.
And, you know, during that time, I was like, maybe it's not going to happen. If it's going to be this hard,
Yeah.
maybe it's not
Man,
going to.
that's
Should
so
I give
awesome.
up? But
Yeah.
I was also determined to, like, so many people have wanted this over the years, and they
Yeah.
gave up because it was tricky. I'm like, okay, it might take a year or two. It might cost me, or it will cost me a lot of money because
Yeah.
I paid a lawyer to help me with everything. And it's just, you know, and it was just still an application. It could have been like declined. I could have
That's
like,
crazy how hard that is just to be like, hey, I want to go.
yeah.
Move to
For me,
Nashville.
it would make more sense to make it easier for people to get like a 6-month work visa or something like that to
Yeah.
go and try it out, and then you have to work your ass off and prove within these 6 months I accomplished this,
Right.
And then you can like
That makes
get an
more sense
extension.
to me, yeah.
But to even come here and play one paid gig legally, you
Yeah.
have to go through that entire process.
Oh, so
I-
like when you just come over to visit, legally you can't work at
No,
all.
at all. I mean, I didn't play a single paid gig during that time. That's why I went to the jams to kind of show myself off, because that's not a
Yeah.
gig. No one pays to see that. So
You're just hanging out playing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh, very interesting.
Yeah.
You finally moved here in
July last
2017?
year.
Yeah. Man, that's
yeah, it took a
that's
while,
so
but
crazy.
it,
Like that was what you were like had to spend so much time working toward just to move here.
yeah.
Like,
and then I had to
let
start
alone-
like actually busting my ass
Then-
off to make stuff happen here.
Right.
Which though happened very quickly, which I'm very grateful and humble
Yeah.
about. Good stuff happened like way quicker for me than for a lot of other people.
Right.
Not because I'm better or anything, but quite
well, you had
likely
put
because
in work beforehand.
yeah,
and
exactly.
The networking
I've done
and everything.
like the networking game a lot before I came here.
Yeah.
And people realized if this guy came all the way from Sweden and spent almost 2 years getting a work visa,
Yeah.
he really wants this. And I think that's something that helped me
For
in
sure.
the beginning, like telling people that story, like, we should help this guy
Aside
out
from
if
the
he
fact
wanted
that you're,
this so much.
you're
Like,
aside from the fact you're a fantastic musician.
yeah, but that doesn't, or thanks, but that's not enough, you know.
Oh yeah,
in
it's
this
definitely
town,
not enough. It's definitely not enough.
And
there's a lot of fantastic musicians that are sitting on their couch right now with working, have no job or whatever. You know,
I heard people saying regarding the work visa thing that it's not about. This was actual quote from someone. It's not how good you are; it's about how famous you are. So, like I won't go to, because even after my application was approved, I had to go to the American embassy in Stockholm for an interview, and they were very close to denying me the visa there.
Really?
I was about to, almost.
like what do they say in the interview? Like
They
you've already
like-
done all this work, getting all these
Yeah,
things
and they're
together.
like, well, so you're applying for the visa category is called O1.
Okay.
And it's for aliens of extraordinary abilities.
yeah, he's air quoting people.
Yeah.
Aliens of extraordinary abilities.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I have to prove that I am one of them, And they're like, well, we've been Googling your name here, and like you're applying for something that you should be kind of world class at what you're doing. We can't find a lot about your name here. So what do you have to say about that? I'm like, well, I haven't done a lot of stuff in my own name, but I played with a lot of people and done this and this and this.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I hadn't given them all the documentation at the embassy that was in my application.
Right.
which was probably a very good move, because when they started asking this, do you have anything more you can show us?
And you had more things.
And I had more, like, I got this like guitar award in Sweden 3 years ago.
So if someone was just an average, not that it's a bad thing, but an average person from Sweden, and they said, "Hey, I want to move to Nashville and work," like, you can't just say, "I'm a normal person. I'm not extraordinarily talented, but I want to go live in America for 6 months and work."
No.
Wow. I feel like you should be able to do that.
Yes. Isn't it like this country's built on
That
immigrants,
yeah.
like people who came here from other parts of the world?
Yeah.
And now it's so tricky. But I also heard some people who got the work visa within 2 months. But they might have been in the music business for 20 years longer than I have, and have an incredible resume, and have like 20 like fully professional gigs booked over here. So then it's like, okay, this guy seems very serious, and it's like, I didn't have any stuff confirmed at all, because it's hard to get any gigs booked when you're not in town.
Right, yeah, for sure. So when you got here, once you finally got here and you moved, I guess you had to line up an apartment and all that stuff?
Yeah, I stayed with in friends' guest rooms for like the first couple of months, like 2 weeks each at different friends.
Yeah.
And then since September, I'm renting a room in East Nashville.
Nice.
Not a big place, but it's a good area. And
did you just go out and start trying to pick up gigs, like, once you got here?
well, to be honest,
or
this
did Tracy Lawrence call you right when you got to town? And be like, hey, I need a guitar player.
This is the crazy thing. I had 4 gigs booked for the first week already before I moved, because a friend hooked me up.
Yeah.
And that was the first gig in town. Was for many people down on Broadway, but my first gig was at Acme. Which
nice.
is like not really a Broadway venue, I'd say.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just
like
down
it's
there.
the one place down there that like local people go to.
Yeah, and I love that place, and
Yeah,
that's
Acme's
where I
great.
met Guthrie Trapp. You know,
Oh
Guthrie Trapp,
yeah, Guthrie's great.
phenomenal guitar player in
yeah.
town, and he's actually the sponsor for my work visa. So his name is printed into my passport, because
That's
he's the
awesome.
guy that really helped me come over here. You know,
Yeah,
he didn't do it a lot for you, but he signed a few documents that wouldn't have made this possible
That's
otherwise.
huge.
So that's a really good thing. And it was so fun because I met him there. The guy who hooked me up with this first gig, I also met at Acme the second time I was here while watching Guthrie. And Guthrie came out to see this gig. It was just like full circles in 3 different ways. It was really cool. And then like 2 nights after that, I went out for my first short tour run, playing with the country singer called Farrah and Rachel's, and we supported Dwight Yoakam for 3 dates.
Oh yeah, nice.
So I played in 4 states my first week here,
That's awesome.
which was like, okay,
That's
I can
pretty,
get
that's
used to
pretty
this.
badass, yeah.
Yeah, and then for the next like 2 months after that, almost, or 6 or 7 weeks, I played with at least one new act every week.
Yeah.
So I had to learn one new repertoire at least every week, everything between 4 new songs to 34 new songs.
Yeah.
And I've never been practicing that much in my life, I think. And it wasn't really practicing, it was more like just learning songs.
Right.
And 3 weeks after I got here, I got a text like, hey man, do you want to audition for Tracy Lawrence? Like, who's that? Well, he was huge in the 90s. He's had like 18 number ones. Like, of course I want to audition for him.
Absolutely, yeah.
And on the day 6 weeks after I moved here, I auditioned and I got the gig. And another 2 weeks later, the first weekend of September, I played the first gig, and that was like less than 2 months after I moved here.
That's
So
killer.
that doesn't happen to a lot of people,
No,
and I'm just
not at
like
all.
so fortunate that these opportunities came up so quickly, because it doesn't matter how good of a player you are.
Yeah, it's
A lot of good players come to town, and they have to do the networking thing for like
years.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I
It's
played the
crazy.
Opry with him, the Grand Ole Opry House, less than 3 months after I came to town.
Yeah, it's
Some people
It's
wait 10
crazy and
years.
sometimes unfortunate how little talent matters in a lot of things. Like, it's when it comes to music. I mean, of course, it's important and it helps, but like being cool and networking and the politics side of things.
And buying a beer to the right person. you
Yeah,
know?
that's it. Yeah, for sure. It's somebody was talking one time about like you can meet somebody during the day or at like business events so many times and you kind of know them, but you go out with somebody and get drunk with them one night or something like that and you're instant friends.
Yeah.
Like just like that. And it's cool how that.
Well, in most cases,
Well,
at
yeah,
least,
yeah.
like I try to make friends for sure, but some people can fuck that up, I guess, as well. But
Yeah.
I heard someone, or it was actually the singer in my old cover band in Sweden. He said like, well, you're not really friends with someone until you've been really drunk together, because that's kind of when you get to know
Yeah.
who someone
You
is.
see
Like,
what's behind the curtain.
yeah, exactly.
Do y'all travel on a bus, tour
Yes.
bus with Tracy?
Yes.
How often does he play? Is he like every weekend kind of thing, or is it?
Since after like a 5-week Christmas and New Year's break, we started during the second half of January. We've had 2 weekends off.
Oh, nice.
The first and last weekend of March. Other than that, we play every weekend. Now we're booked every weekend except for one until the end of August, I think.
Like probably 2 or 3 shows a week? or
Yeah,
something?
usually 2, sometimes 3. Rare cases, just 1.
Yeah. Usually Friday, Saturday, I
Yes,
guess.
exactly.
Is it like usual festivals, like festival type stuff? Or is it?
Well, earlier in the year, it hasn't been anything
Right.
like that. But during the fall, it was a lot of like theaters. Now, in February and March, we played like 7 shows in Texas during 2 months, which didn't happen at all during the fall. It was more like different states all the time.
Yeah.
But then it was a lot of like clubs.
Yeah.
Now, we played a festival in Arizona, direct support to Jason Aldean a couple of weeks back, or maybe 3 weeks back. That's where you saw this like duck walk, catwalk thing.
I'm gonna put that video up on the show notes page, people. You gotta watch it.
Cool experience, like 30,000 people.
You look like Angus Young out there.
And you see like 4,000 of them until they turn on the big light. And you're like,
Yeah.
oh, they go all the way back there. It was like really cool. And I watched the few videos that my girlfriend took from that show, like every day for a couple of weeks after that show, not to like tell myself, oh my God, that's so cool, or you sound amazing, but to tell the 15-year-old inside me, you know, you worked for it. It took a while, but you got there.
Yeah.
Maybe not in the way I thought it would be.
And
like,
you're
I
still
thought I
young.
would do it with my own band.
And
but
you
I
might still.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But now I've at least done it with
That's awesome.
a legendary country singer. That's like...
Yeah, that's great. And we're still young. We're still young
Yeah,
gentlemen.
so, I mean, I have some friends back home that did what we're trying to do, like hustle around different things, and then they started a band around the time when they were 30, and that's the most successful project they've ever been part of, because maybe they know the business good enough so they can actually not do the mistakes.
Made plenty
they
of
did.
mistakes earlier, for sure. So when's your birthday?
July 9th.
July 9th of 88.
Yes.
Right? Pretty cool. I got about 11 months on you. I'm August of 87.
Yeah?
Yeah. Man, what was I going to ask?
How was it turning 30? Was it like tough, or was it like...
Nah, I'm like a fine wine, man. I'm getting better with age.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to think like that as well. It's just
it really was.
2 numbers in a passport.
I think I called my dad like the next day or that day or something and talked to him, and I was like, you know what? 30 feels a lot like 29 did.
Yeah.
You know, it's just
29 plus 1.
Yeah, right. It's of course I'm also in a lot better shape like than I was 6 years ago or 7 years ago, because when I was until I was like 24-ish, 25, I was not a healthy person.
Yeah.
I drank too much, still drink too much sometimes, but drank too much too often and didn't watch what I ate, rarely ever exercised, and changed all that about 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
So as a 30-year-old, I feel magnificent.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried about it.
No. A lot of people in this business have like done amazing things way later than in their 30s.
I mean, to me, like so many people that I look up to and that I've seen, I'm sure you got people that were in like Grand Funk Railroad when they were 17, 18, 19 years old, but that's
they
a
were
rarity.
so like I haven't listened a lot to them really, because they're not like a band that people talk about in Sweden that much.
Okay.
But some of their earlier stuff when they were still a trio,
that's my dad's
like,
favorite band, Grand Funk. Yeah, you gotta
it's
listen.
like fucking amazing, because what I would say, I'm not super impressed by their songwriting because, like, I can realize why Kiss got more popular in the long run because they had the sing-along choruses. It's not those like hit songs, but just the energy and the playing and just like the feel.
3 of them, and
and like what Mark Farner.
That sounds right. Mark Farner. Yeah,
his vocals are like so badass, when the drummer, whatever his name is, singing back
I can't
up,
remember, but
it's just like, and they weren't old back then.
No, they were like 18, 19, 20 years old. Yeah.
How did they get that good that early on? Because they didn't have videos of Ian Pace that like drummers nowadays
no, they just got in a garage and played, and
they kind of invented this,
figured it out. So aside from those oddities, so many people, like the 30s is when you get like your success, like a lot of people in the music and entertainment world. So I'm feeling good about the next 10 years. What's going to happen.
I'm confident that if we're still focusing on the right stuff and like learning from our past, like taking the good stuff with us, and then just like keep pushing forward, more good stuff will happen. It's
part of life, my man. What would you say? What's the biggest difference, like living in the States compared to life in Sweden, just as far as day-to-day life? Is it that different as far as just like going about?
Well, when I was in the cover band, I got a little bit lazy after a while. I didn't try to get any other gigs because I knew we would be quite busy.
Right.
But then when I quit the cover band, I kind of had to work my ass off to get some gigs because it was like, the scene isn't like... I heard something about there's roughly 150 live music venues here in town, in Nashville, and most of them have live music every day, right?
Yeah.
In Sweden, or in Stockholm, I'd say maybe there's 30 live music venues.
Yeah.
And that's, I would say, like, so I had to, not that I'm playing that much in town, actually. I'd love to do that more, but it's just like, it's bigger country, and like as everyone knows, the States is a little bit bigger than Sweden is.
Right.
Even though we looked at the map and Sweden is quite big, like Europe.
But still, compared to the country.
Yeah.
Like
it's like, because though I've played in like 15 different European countries, most of them only one time or something like that. But the thing is that since over here in the States, you all speak the same language and you don't have to cross any borders. Yeah. So it's very common to drive 12 hours and play 1 or 2 gigs in wherever, in Wisconsin, and then go back. While go from Sweden to Portugal, play 2 gigs and go back. That doesn't happen because people don't do that because it's hard to book those gigs because people don't speak English very well in quite a lot of the European countries. It's just harder to communicate. And over here, if you're a popular country artist, people probably have heard of you all around the country.
Right.
While like if you're a popular pop or rock or country artist in Sweden, people won't have heard about you in Portugal. It's just like, even if it's this, like even Europe is smaller than the States is, it's still easier to travel here, and like you don't only play in your city or your state, you play all over the place. I'm actually playing in South Dakota and Colorado this upcoming weekend, and that's going to be my 25th and 26th state I'm playing since I got here. So I'm passing halfway now. I'm going to try to do all 50 of them. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So how often, so we're sitting here looking at the map still of Sweden, like, so talking about traveling like in the States and how far you can go, how often do people like go from Stockholm to like Estonia or Latvia or Lithuania or Finland that are all like right there to the east?
Well, I went to Finland very often because my girlfriend lives there.
Oh, okay. Well, she still live there?
Yes.
Nice. That's a hell of a long distance. Right?
Yes, it is. And I wouldn't use the word niceness. We make it work.
Yeah.
Like she's probably still in Stockholm though. She's been working in Switzerland this week. had a layover on her way back to Finland in Stockholm, and her flight was delayed. She's still on the airport in Stockholm.
So I saw a picture that you posted of you and her
Yeah.
on your Facebook, I think. Like y'all standing somewhere. And her name looked very hard to pronounce. What's her name?
Well, her first name is Sofia, so that's not tricky.
That's not bad.
And her last name is Madnica.
Madnica?
Yeah, that's close. Yeah, good. You have your Scandinavian roots for sure.
That's it.
But the thing is, these cruise ships that I mentioned that I played a lot with my cover band, it's a little bit like the bars on Broadway. People come there for the party more than for the music.
Right.
They drink all night, and you play cover music for 4 hours.
Right.
And I kind of got bored with that. But those that I played went between Sweden and this small island that is this one. That is between Sweden and Finland.
Okay,
it belongs to Finland.
Finland, okay.
But that went back and forth there.
And that's in the Gulf of Bosnia?
Yes.
Bosnia?
Yeah. But it's rather the Baltic
Sea.
Actually, yeah.
I got you, okay.
Okay. So...
I'm learning things here, people.
Yeah.
We're looking at maps. I'm talking to people who are from places I've never been.
Yeah. But anyway, and the fun thing is that my brother, he had a long distance with a Finnish girl as well.
Wow.
And both of our girlfriends lived in this city that's kind of straight over from Stockholm called Turku.
Turku? Okay.
So we both like
Henriksson boys like the Finnish women.
Yes, and my dad was dating a Finnish woman before he met our mother as well, which is really weird. Huh. That all three of us has done that. But anyway, so we went a lot with the cruise ship halfway to Finland and back for 5 years. Yeah. My brother still does that every third week or something like that. But then when we started meeting these girls, we went all the way to Finland.
Yeah.
So, but there's also some these cruise ships going to Estonia and Latvia, maybe not to Lithuania, I'm not sure. So some people go there as well, but it's not as common as going over to Finland.
Well, as far as day-to-day stuff, like going out to eat or banks or anything regular stuff, is that similar to Sweden? Like paying bills and stuff like that?
Well, one thing that I noticed that's way more common here regarding paying bills or bank errands and stuff like that, I've never had to handle a check in my life in Sweden.
Really?
Because you kind of get paid by sending an invoice. Yeah. And then they pay you right into your account. Yeah. I've never got a check for a gig ever in Sweden, I think at least. But here it's happened quite many. Now it sounds like, I play the Grand Ole Opry often. But I've been there a few times now, and we always get a check from there. And most of the Tracy gigs goes straight into my account as salary. Yeah. But some gigs are paid as a check. And
I was going to ask, are you on salary with him, or does he pay you per show?
Per show.
Per show. Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, so that's cool.
And it's just some stuff are different, some stuff are very similar.
Yeah. How, as far as, this is just stuff that I think about, groceries and buying food over there, because I know I've talked to some people that say, and this is I don't know about in Sweden, but they say going in other countries in Europe, that it's very common to just buy what people need for a day or two or for a few days at a time at markets. Yeah. Instead of here going to Walmart or something and buying shitty things that are packaged that'll last a month and a half. Yeah. Is grocery shopping and markets and stuff similar over there to over here?
Let's see. Stuff that I noticed here is that you can buy pre-cooked bacon. You cannot do that in Sweden.
Yeah, I've never had the pre-cooked bacon, but I've seen it.
It doesn't take that long to actually fry your bacon. Yeah, I don't think it's as good with pre-cooked bacon.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine so.
But anyway, joke aside, but what I noticed here is that, for example, cheese. I like cheese. I buy cheese quite often. But it's always you can only buy it, to the grocery stores I go to at least, you will barely only find the sliced packages with 10 or 12 slices in them. Yeah. While in Sweden, you can buy a big chunk of cheese that you can just cut however big or thick slices you want, and like
just a block, like a block of cheese.
Exactly.
You can get that. You just have to go to the. What are they called?
I guess you can get that, but I see way more of those. Like
just
it's
a package
of something, and it's usually lasting a long time because it's packaged in that way.
Yeah,
but
if you go to the I forgot what's the area of the grocery store called. It's not the butcher, but it's anyway where you can get sliced meat or sliced cheese. Yeah. I've gone there before and just you say, "Hey, can I just get a block of cheese?" Yeah. Sometimes they look at you like you're retarded or something. Yeah. I didn't. No offense to people, but they just if you just go say, "Hey, I want a block of cheese," because I've used it like and just shredded it, just cut it myself or whatever. So you can do that.
Yeah. But that's more standard in Sweden, I would say. That is more common that it's the block.
Yeah. Interesting.
But one thing, what was I thinking of? Like for me personally, since I'm usually both back home, I was usually playing during the weekends.
Yeah.
Even if I didn't travel 12 or 16 hours, it was rare that I was home for 1 week straight. So I didn't usually. I bought groceries for those few days that I was home. I didn't like stack up my freezer or my fridge with stuff for months because I've always lived in very small apartments and to save money and to make sure I don't have to have an extra job. So I can only do music.
What about did you exercise a lot growing up, or did your family exercise? Is that a common thing?
I played soccer for like 10 years, and I played a sport that you might have another American name for, but the English name that I've heard for it before is floorball, and it's a little bit like hockey, ice hockey, but you have it's not on ice. Okay. It's kind of the same court as basketball or something like that. And you have plastic stick instead, and instead of a puck, it's a ball, a white ball that is hollow, but also a lot of holes in it, so it's super lightweight.
Yeah, kind of like it sounds like a wiffle ball. That's what we call it.
That's probably what you call it. Yeah, I've heard that before.
But the only thing I remember using wiffle balls for was like if you played baseball indoors or something like that, you play with a wiffle ball and a bat, but. That's probably that same kind of ball.
Yes,
but just for
it sounds similar.
So, but you play it with a hockey stick kind of thing.
But it's a
floor
plastic.
Stick. Okay,
plastic stick, and that's also a lot of holes in the actual blade of the stick.
So you can. Wow, nice. It sounds like that would hurt if you got hit with the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could.
How long did you play that?
I played that for like 7 years.
Is that like contact, like hockey and stuff?
Like when you don't have any protection, so so it can be quite rough. But
like
the hockey people say like, oh, that's for wusses, because you can't really make that much contact. Yeah, but you don't have any protection either. Right. So it's like what you actually touch each other, it feels more than.
Gotcha.
With the actual.
Well, man, this is cool. Let's play some. Would you like to play some guitar with me, and we could
why not?
Pick around a little bit?
Yeah.
I feel like that's something you might be into.
Yeah.
Before we get to playing the music though, I do want to ask if you had to give yourself advice when you were 18, 19, 20 years old, what would you go back and tell yourself?
And don't be too Swedish.
Don't be too Swedish?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Swedish people are raised to not think too much of themselves, not say too much, not try to be anyone. Just be in the middle lane. Just be medium. Just be, nothing special. And I think that held me back for quite many years.
Interesting.
While on stage, I've always been able to forget about that and do crazy stage acts and just like live out that thing that's
but then you come off stage and you go kind of
and then it's like well I've been afraid of getting a no but when I came over here the first time I was like this is no one is like in Sweden. People take initiatives. People go speak to anyone.
Huh.
And I just like started talking to everyone like I was from here.
That's so interesting because...
But I said I was from Sweden, of course. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh, cool. And then
that's so
after that, I've noticed that I've not been as afraid to take initiatives, and it's opened up so many doors. Like, don't
That's cool
be too
because
Swedish. That's
I'm thinking about my grandma that's
Yeah.
100% Swedish, and like she's very kind of reserved,
Yeah.
or like, you know,
That's the
like
word,
she's-
yeah.
She volunteers a lot, and she's like 90.
Yeah.
She'll be 90 in July, but
That's cool.
But she's very, like you were talking about,
Yeah.
like not too outlandish or
No.
anything like that. Yeah. Huh. Well, cool. All right, let's play some music.
Yes.
Thanks for talking.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
I don't know. We're just gonna do something in A. How about
Yeah.
that? Start over. Yeah, David Henriksson, ladies and gentlemen. Henriksson, that's 2 S's, in case you were wondering. Now, I'm not going to talk too much here, so you can enjoy David and I swapping some guitar licks in the background. But you can jump over to the show notes page, which is don'tstifleme.com/053 I'll put up a few video clips of David playing. I'll also put up a video of the keyed fiddle, or the nyckelharpa, as I've been taught to say. So I'll put up videos of that stuff and social media links to all of David's sites and accounts and all that, of course. If you enjoyed this talk, please subscribe to the podcast here, rate and review it if you'd like to do those things. That'd be awesome. Share with anyone that you think might be interested. But also go check out patreon.com/DSM podcast if you're really into it. Over there for a few bucks a month, you can get, you'll help the process and allow me to keep doing it, but you also will be able to get downloads of MP3s from some of the guest jams that I do here. There's some pictures and videos that I'll post from behind the scenes as well. And once again, if you want to check that out, I would love you a long time. I'm going to love you anyway, but that would be at patreon.com/DSM podcast. And the podcast social medias are all at DSM podcast. Mine are all at Jacob Stiefel. Thank you for listening, my good friends. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and I will talk to you again soon.